Welcome back, y'all. This is Dev Blog number 3 for Rapture. Action horror FPS with old school survival horror pacing. So kind of like a cool blend between Resident Evil and like Fear, but also, we got the Quake 2 engine powering this whole thing. And so a lot of this should feel familiar with people that are into the to old school FPS games. Um, Things will be very, very punchy, interactive, and consequential. Those are kind of the themes that I will be exploring through this whole game and through the gameplay. So a lot's changed, right, since we've last talked. And so I don't know if you've noticed, there's no crosshair or there's no weapon on the screen. Um, it was actually surprisingly difficult, well, complex rather, maybe is the right word, to make it to where there's no start weapon. Quake 2 really wants you to have a start weapon, but I took that bad boy off. And so you now will be tasked with finding um, ways to survive, and you can be completely vulnerable. So be careful. I don't know if you've noticed now the walk speed and run speeds are a little bit slower than what you probably are used to with Quake 2. Um, Last I checked in with you guys, when I ran, there was no footsteps, but that's something I was able to get fixed. So yeah, it makes the game world feel very, very tangible. Of course, you don't jump very high because you're not like a super marine. You're some dude in a bunker, and so it makes the game feel a lot more grounded. With this slower pace, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on exploration and stealth in addition to combat. And so with the smaller scale, there's going to be things that you can interact with, and you're going to have to treat some of these combat scenarios a little bit like puzzles, um, because you are going to have to be resourceful to survive. Actually, show you a little bit of what that looks like. So there have been some changes to the map here. Um, what I will show you is we'll go upstairs first. So as you can see and probably hear, there's not a whole lot of sound going on. It's because I'm in stealth mode, baby. I'm walking. That's your default speed. I could bust out in a sprint and I'll make noise. You see that guy up there? So currently enemies do not react to my footsteps, but they will eventually. But I'm able to run past them very, very quickly. Enemies used to be set to ambush. Last time I showed you this game, everything had or every enemy had ambush spawn flag set on them. Essentially, what that meant is they were just kind of a little bit more dampened to my presence. I would have to actually like shoot them or literally run in front of them for them to see me. But that has since been disabled, and so the enemies are a lot more responsive to my presence. Not super responsive to noise, but if they see me, if I just end up in their viewport somehow, um, or I get to shooting, everybody's gonna go up. There's a lot of cool ambience here going on. We might start a firefight here later. Let's see. The thing with firefights is you want to be real careful about them because they'll have consequences. With stealth being in the game, there actually be like gameplay ramifications, right? If we light this room up, I'm gonna creep down so these guys don't see me, and I'm gonna grab this key here. If I light this room up and it goes up, next time I come in here, this room can be in complete shambles, and I will have no way of predicting what condition the room is in or where the enemies even are when I come back, and that could put me at risk. And so when the enemies are quiet and they don't know that I'm here, it actually gives me an opportunity to plan out an attack if I even want to attack. Maybe I need to start strategizing routes to some of these item placements that are around. So there's no flashlight just yet. I took the flashlight out. I showed the flashlight before, but right now I kind of want the game to be balanced a little bit more for no flashlight. Oh, hello. What's up, guy? Ouch, ouch. I'm getting shot in my ass. Please. I'm unarmed. I'm innocent. Oh my gosh. This guy's really, really pissed off. But yeah, if the game is balanced for no flashlight, that means that I don't have to, I got to be real diligent about how I place lights and whatnot so my players don't get lost. And it'll make the flashlight a lot more useful. Eventually, I want the flashlight to have to be detectable by enemies. Essentially, we're not quite there yet, and so it's a little distracting for me to see a flashlight go off and the enemies don't react to it. So I took it out. Um, let's see. So we have a new area here. I showed a little bit of this area before, and I showed it in gameplay tests as well. This is the living quarters. And there's a couple things here to see. There's some enemies here that I am absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not equipped to fight. We've got some environmental details. Got some ammo here, which I'll go ahead and pick up so you don't have to look at it. And you can see there's another guy over there. There's actually a green door over there, which I'll get into later. But since that door is green, I know I can get in there. But it's a little risky to get over to him right now because I'll just run right into this guy's trap and it'll light this whole room up. So a way that I'm trying to deal with that is to have branching pathways within these environments, multiple ways around, so that you don't get trapped or soft locked into scenarios. So if you were paying attention, you might have noticed that this pole is something I can climb on top of. And so we're going to do a little bit of traversal, and it's not, you know, going to give me a complete strategic advantage, but what it will do is it'll allow me a little bit of time to get into this room here. So now we have entered into one of the living quarters, and we've got a guy here and no weapon. And so we're kind of in a little bit of a precarious position here. But this will give me an opportunity to show you some cool tricks that I'm employing to help you navigate around situations like this. I want to be a little bit more careful about showing this stuff before, because once it's time to prototype, I don't want to give too much away. But I'll show you guys a little bit of a glimpse. This room's gonna light up in a little bit, but it'll be worth it, and I'll show you why. So, oh man, this guy's mad. I'm gonna see if I can lure these guys out. Please. Ouch. Really aggressive. So there's actually a hidden passageway in this little area here. I really didn't want to go back out that front door, and I'll show you why. Let's see. You see that guy's not where he was before. He's probably right on top of that door. I can't even see him from here. So this is, oh, there he is. He's behind the locker. So that's quite dangerous. We don't really want to get involved in that. And so that's going to be one of the big benefits of stealth, is that when enemies detect you, you kind of leave these rooms in shambles. So let's see. On another topic, we've got some environmental interactivity that I've been working on. First thing that I can show you here are the lockers. They work the way lockers work. You know, you go up to them. I got a lot of keys. You go up to the locker and they will open up for you. These are all driven by triggers, essentially. You can hide in these too if you really wanted to. I haven't figured out a way to quite balance it just yet, but this will be a way for you to kind of evade possibly some danger that's in the environment. I don't know exactly how I'm going to use that yet, but some of these lockers or like interactive elements can be obscured as well. And so this one actually requires a key, but I have the key on me because we've been doing some exploring. And so we're going to use that here. And look at that. We just earned ourselves a weapon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Just make sure we're locked in. Okay. So we saved it. And we have a machine gun. We have 100 bullets. So this is kind of exciting. I still have a bad feeling about fighting these guys because the guys upstairs kind of kicked my ass. Or the guys in the other room kind of kicked my ass. So I don't really have a whole lot of health. But I do have a couple keys. But you know what? Maybe I could take one of these guys out and maybe we could do a little bit more exploring. So let's start with this guy over here since he is tucked away in the corner here. He might honestly see me first though, so I want to shoot this guy first because he can't see me. Oh. Ah! Holy shit. That guy's pissed. We gotta go. We gotta go. Well, look at that. That guy took all of my bullets, and we have none remaining. Can you believe that? And we have 13 health, so we're in a bad way. But you know what? It's fine. We survived. So that's the risk that comes with combat with Rapture. Um, it is really going to be to your benefit to avoid some of these combat scenarios because you could really end up worse. And so when you fight people, you really want to make sure that you have a plan and you have a good reason. And if you don't have a good reason, you just better be ready for things to maybe go wrong a little bit. But that's okay. We don't need to fight that guy. That guy went back upstairs, thank goodness. Remember, he chased us downstairs. So we kind of got lucky there. I wanted to show you guys some more of the environmental activities or environmental interactivity. I don't know if you noticed these lights are green. That is because these doors are open. I can pass through them. I mentioned that before. So you can see here we've got a room. This is our admin room that will lead us to the server room. This room will be pretty important. This door here, you can see it's locked because it's red, but it has to be unlocked from this computer, which is in the admin office area. So you can see that's locked as well. It's got a red light on it, so got a little bit of visual communication here. You can see that light is green. I can go through there. Now, with this door being locked, there might be a condition that needs to be met in order to unlock it. So I actually picked up a whole bunch of keys, so I'm going to use my blue key here. And we've got a couple other things going on here. There will be items like, say, file cabinets that you can go into, and they'll, like, have potentially important items in them that you can scavenge. You can see, oh look, we found another weapon. This will help us. There will be little details scattered throughout the map that you can kind of just look at and examine in order to get more environmental clues about what's going on. So that's not super descriptive, but you get the idea. Yeah. This is going to be I was going to put a key there, and I was just experimenting with how the text would look. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of interactivity in the game. We also have this computer here. I'm going to go ahead and interact with this computer, which I did by just going up to it. And look, it activated that room, as you can tell, because now the light's green. Let's go back in this hallway. So now you can see all of these lights are green. And so if I ever come back into this room and I'm just trying to assess where I've been, I can tell very obviously that I've been here or that these doors are open. So let's go into the server room and see what we got. So there's not a whole lot in here, but looks like we do have some ammo. This could help us later. And so again, the whole point of this is going to be exploring and interacting with the environment in interesting ways. Looks like we got some grenades here. Another cool part about the environments that I'm going for is even though things will be interactive, what that also means is they might also be destructible. I don't have a lot of destruction in the game just yet. Currently, the main things that destroy or that are destructible are just like glass panes, the average, the typical stuff that you'd expect. Oh, I've got a lot of weapons, don't I? There's a guy here. We got to keep an eye out on this guy. So, like I mentioned earlier, when combat happens, you leave these rooms in shambles, and that can be dangerous. But it can also act as They can also act as like bookmarks so to speak. You'll be able to tell where you have and have not been, kind of based on the carnage that's been left behind. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. All right, cuz you got me. That was good stuff. So let's see. So I don't know if you noticed, that glass pane broke pretty quickly once I started throwing grenades around. And you'll see things like that happen kind of all over the place. Glass has already been destructible in the game, in this game in particular, for a while. And so that part is pretty easy, but there'll be other things that'll be destructible as well. Ouch. Oh. Yeah. So it's pretty sick, right? Okay. So let's talk about the combat. I don't know if you noticed, of all those weapons that I had, there was a very important one that was missing, and that's the blaster. Let me show you the blaster. I've actually been working on new versions. I want to be working on new versions of these weapons, and I've been starting with the blaster. The blaster is going to have some new functionality. It's going to have some new animations, and some new balancing, and there's going to be some new kind of features, I guess, that'll work with this. The big one is the ability to zoom. So I haven't figured out if I'm gonna stick with the aim down sight, or just like kind of like a Resident Evil 7 style, like kind of tighter zoom in. I like kind of the old school look. Maybe I'll have it like a toggleable feature. But as you can see, your blaster now has iron sights. There will be parts on the blaster that will move as well. It shoots a little faster, and so the cool part about this is actually it makes you a little bit more capable, and makes this gun not a throwaway gun like it's kind of been classified as over all these years. So we're still working on some balancing here. A lot of times you're going to be outnumbered, and so I want the blaster to kind of be the gun that you're going to be using a lot, since you'll have a weapon carry limit on this game, essentially. So you'll be able to carry, thinking, 2 weapons and then your blaster. I have a lot of plans for the blaster that I'm not going to go into just yet, but just know that there's going to be a lot of functionality packed into this gun. And so I want to kind of establish people's relationship with this gun. And even with the way that it is now, you can see that let's see, I'm going to run this way. He's going to chase me? Is he chasing me? I'm going to see if I can get that health before that guy kills me. Do you see him? Oh, there's a lot of shit down here that I can use. I'm going to see if I get a new vantage point. He's on my ass. Relax, boy. Okay. We got help.
Let me out.
All right.
Help.
So as you can
Let me
see, I still
out.
had to fight my ass
It
off.
hurts.
And that guy has not figured out how to get to me yet.
Make it
But if I
stop.
shoot one of these panes out, I can make it
Make
really
it
hard on
stop.
myself. I'm not gonna do that.
It hurts.
But as you
Let me
can see, the
out.
blaster is kind of fun to use now, and
Pull
it's
me
I'm still
down.
tweaking the way something's gonna work. I would like it to where it's less accurate,
It hurts.
unless you're aiming down the sight.
Stop.
But you
It
know,
hurts.
again, we're still working on it.
It
Another thing that this
hurts.
thing does is you
It
can
hurts.
now not sprint while you're zooming.
Stop.
The
It hurts.
this animation here
Stop.
when you're aiming down the sight or when you're zoomed in just completely
Make it
disables
stop.
zoom, or
It
sorry, it
hurts.
completely disables sprint.
Let me out.
What's up, man? I'm sorry about what they did to you, man. I
Horror.
mean, yeah. Um,
Make it stop.
and so yeah, it just feels a whole lot different. And the whole kind of the combat's going to be based around that type of pacing, and that type of destruction. So eventually, uh, things like computers and servers and whatnot will be destructible as well. So, what else is there? So the next thing I got to do after this is I'm gonna go grab that key. The next thing I got to do. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna grab that key. Um, the next thing I'm gonna do is I want to get this gun properly animated, and I want to texture it as well, but I'm not quite as worried about the texture work on this gun. I just need it to animate, so that it feels a little bit more polished when it comes to playtest. So I think we'll need some feedback when people get their hands on it. Speaking of which, I'm gonna be releasing this as a prototype or like an early like test build that I would love some public feedback on. So if you guys are interested in helping me tweak this thing and make it more fun and more what you guys would like, please let me know. I've been using Map Center, the Map Center Discord, essentially to communicate with a lot of established Quake veterans and whatnot in the community, like pillars and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so they have an area where I can post like the need for playtesting. But I'll explore some other ways. But if you're interested in that, please let me know. Because that is going to we're getting to that point where it's time to start testing some of these features out. Also next up, I want to put some more polish on some of these features. I want more parts of the environment to be destructible. Things like this here will be like boxes will be destructible. I want like maybe like pillars that are attached to the floor and ceiling to be a little bit destructible. Computers that will be destructible, things like that. Um, and there was also one other thing I wanted to show you guys. So since we're kind of shooting for transparency, I wanted to give you guys a little bit more background on the Rapture setting. So this is quite a departure from the bunker, or it might seem like quite a departure. This is a big ass house. One might call it a mansion. Um, the bunker will exist under or around this big block of land here, this big property here. Um, Rich playground shit. I don't want to give too much of the game away, but a lot of the game will take place in this kind of mansion-like setting, in addition to the bunker. And so I want to walk around a little bit here to kind of show you this. This map is a map I actually built on my own. I found a floor plan of a mansion that I liked on the internet, and I pretty much recreated it and scaled it all up so it's a little bit more playable in the engine. And this is how it looks. This is the only room with actual dynamic lights, and that's why my gun is actually rendering the way that it is. You'll see that as we explore this mansion more, it'll flatten out. But these rooms are going to be packed with detail, much like you saw in the bunker. Um, and essentially, my main character will have to fight his way through this place while also exploring the nooks and crannies and figuring out what he needs to do to essentially solve his problems and survive the crisis that he's in. So um, the area is very, very big, and you can see that it is very, very unfinished, but you should get a pretty good idea of the scale that I'll be working with. I will not be playtesting this anytime soon because I wanted to focus on the bunker first because that's kind of like my prototype section. But essentially, this will be a major part of the game, and there may be more parts, but you can see it's very labyrinthine, which will come in handy when you're trying to, essentially survive hordes of uh, aggressive uh, NPCs that want your fucking head on a spike. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so it's gonna be paramount that you kind of learn your way around this stuff. Um, I've gotten lost in this stuff a couple times, actually more than a few times. I've just spent a lot of time navigating this, so I kind of know the nooks and crannies here. But there's so much to see here, and it's going to be a blast to build within. And I'm excited to do more. But this is a little bit further down the line. I wanted to get some of the systems working first before I really started diving into this stuff because the way the systems work will inform how this is built. So with that being said, I um I want this on storefronts. And so my goal with this right now is to find a way to get this. It started as a mod, but I think that this is turning into something that's a little bit more. And so I want this on storefronts. My plan with this game is to have it be free. It'll be a free release that you could just download the full game. And if you want to support us, what I'm thinking about doing actually is putting microtransactions through like storefront pages, but it's they're essentially like donations. Like spend $1, buy us a candy bar, spend $5, buy us a coffee, spend $10, buy us a meal. I kind of want the player base to tell me how valuable they think this game is, but I want people to have the game for free. Um, Being that this started as a Quake 2 mod, I want to honor the history of Quake 2 by, still allowing people to play it. The assets and whatnot that I create for the game will also be given away for free as well. And so it'll kind of be a bit of a true open source project. I mean, I say open source, I'm doing a lot of the lifting currently. Um, but I do want help. And so, and if I want help or if I get help, I want to be able to put some money in people's pockets. And so I'm trying to explore ways to do that while not screwing over my target demographic. I'm thinking about starting a Patreon. I'm thinking about looking at trying to get this funded. Um, if that could mean investors, that could mean crowdsourcing. I would love to crowdsource, but ultimately my goal is if I get people helping me out with this project, again, it's just very important that they get money in their pocket. People got to get paid for their work. Um, and I want to be able to do that in a way that does not punish players. And I want people to be able to try, even if they don't have the money to spend on it. Um, so yeah, if anyone is interested in playtesting, please let me know. Also, if anyone is interested in actually contributing to the project, also let me know. Again, this stuff is still quite early, and I'm exploring ways to actually make this viable. But I personally feel like this is turning out to be something special, and I'm excited to share more with you guys. Um, I want to give a shout out to the Map Center Discord. I through my research of a lot of this stuff, I've seen Map Center Discord referenced a lot. There's another major Discord that I haven't been quite as active in, but I've been posting a lot in the Map Center Discord, and the people there have been very, very, very helpful. And I think we've been able to make a lot of really cool breakthroughs through some of this work and just some cool communication. So you guys should give them you know, just stop by, say hi to them, and if you're interested in learning, game design and development and whatnot, and you don't want to use like Unity or like Unreal, I think that the Quake 2 engine is a great starting point, and that's a great reference for people. There's also a lot of great references on YouTube and like the internet sphere as well. Um, I also want to give a shout to boot.dev. I've been learning to code. I don't know how to code, but I've been learning. I do have a background in HTML and CSS. I graduated with a degree in UX or um, interactive media and design. So, but not specifically like development outside of HTML and CSS. And so, I've been learning. Oh, let me I've been learning how to do a lot of this stuff because that will allow me to make more important decisions. And it's well, not bored. It'll allow me to make this game the way I want to make it, essentially, and not be held back by roadblocks like not being able to code. And even with what the little bit that I've learned already through boot.dev, I've been able to take the source code through Quake and really start tinkering and getting some results. And that's how you're seeing a lot of the nuances that you've been seeing through the game here. So yeah, that's what I got. I hope you guys enjoyed. This ended up being pretty long, but hopefully this was substantial. Please consider following the channel. I think I'm gonna start putting up mod DBs and all that stuff. I think it's time to make this kind of the kind of official, because this is I didn't realize how much work had been done on it. I've just been kind of trying to push towards an MVP that I can prototype. And every single time I sit down to work on this stuff, some new need comes up. And so I wasn't sure I had a whole lot, but I feel like I have a whole lot. And so it's real close to being ready for people to actually get their hands on it. And so if you're interested, please let me know, and we'll figure out how to make that happen. And also, again, if you're interested in actually contributing to the project, please let me know. I'm I'm gonna try to go all the way with this. I will say that there are guys in the Map Center Discord that have been doing a lot towards you know optimizing some of the or advancing some of the newer engines, or the source port engines that exist on Quake right now. I'm not gonna go into all that. That don't matter. Um, anyway, yeah, that's all I got right now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled. There will be more to come. Take care.